Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to our channel Bhagavad-gita. Here it is, because we have Bhagavad-gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and my name is Labangalatika. So we are reading the Bhagavad-gita, which we have been doing. Actually, we almost exactly did our first recording 3 years ago, so we've gotten through more than half. But there's still quite a fair bit left. And we are in the 11th chapter, which is called the Universal Form, where Arjuna is asking Krishna if he can show the universal form, which is special form, which isn't exactly Krishna's personal form, but at the same time is a manifestation of Krishna's powers and potencies in this universe. So today we are reading text 9. We're beginning with text 9. They seem very short comments, so we'll probably read a couple. Text 9. Sanjaya vacha eva muktva tato radyan mahayogeshvaro harihi darshayama saparthaya paramang rupam aishvaram. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the supreme lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Oh, the listeners will ask, we've been following this channel for 3 years and hearing a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, and nowhere have we heard of this Sanjaya, because this is my fault. I didn't do the first chapter, because the first chapter is very much the introduction to the Bhagavad-gita if you come out of the Mahabharata, because Mahabharata is a great epic literature giving ancient India, and more than India, because it's a bigger concept than just India, ancient history. So there is very much action and stories and kings and powers and demigods turning up. The Mahabharata is a lot, and I have not read it, but I've heard like general stories and so on. But at this point in the story, this chapter appears, which we know as the Bhagavad-gita, where Krishna is speaking truth, philosophy to Arjuna, his disciple. But it starts with King Dhritarashtra, actually, because he is the... Yes, that's the story. We're on this battlefield because it has been building up between the cousins, and they say cousin brothers because families are so closely related that they're basically like brothers. But Arjuna and his brothers, they are called the Pandavas because their father is Pandu, and Duryodhan, they were many brothers, and they were the sons of Dhritarashtra. And Pandu and Dhritarashtra, they were brothers. So here, Dhritarashtra started by asking Sanjaya, and who is Sanjaya, we may ask. He is some sort of secretary, and he has some special mystic powers. So they are not on the battlefield, but he's seeing what's happening. He's seeing it from within his heart, and the king is asking him, and he's telling him. So everything we hear in the Bhagavad-gita, the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, this is retold by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. So that's why 11 chapters in, suddenly it's a Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya said. So I thought I'll just note why that is so, and quickly move on to the next verse, text 11. Aneka vaktranāyanam, aneka dibhuta darshanam, aneka divyabharanam, divyaneko jayayudham, divyamalyambaradharam, divyagandhanulepanam, sarvacharyamayang devam, anantang vishvato mukham. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. how this all starts. Arjuna, first verse in this chapter, Arjuna said, "By hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of you. If you think I'm able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, kindly show me that unlimited universal self." So here this is unfolding before Arjuna, and Arjuna is responding to it, because up to now Arjuna hasn't said very much, but he has brought up questions when he has not fully grasped the point or had some doubts, and he has also asked questions to further the discourse. And here he's responding in a prayerful mood, glorifying the Lord's manifestation in that specific special form. I'm reading the purport. In these two verses, the repeated use of the word many indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs, and other manifestations that Arjuna was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. So that's one thing we need to take into account when we enter our phase of existential questioning. We will, of course, start from ourselves, from where we are. This is natural. But when we consider the concept of everything, eternity, the universe, what lies beyond it, what is the meaning of life, is there a God, then we need to acknowledge the fact that we are asking these questions because we don't know the answers, and it is quite rational to think that everything we see has a cause, because we never see anything without a cause. And that supreme cause is described here as Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That's not here, that's the Brahma Samhita. That's the prayers from the first living being in the universe. And now Arjuna is also offering his prayers, describing what he's seeing and appreciating it. And also, it was possible for him to see this. We don't ordinarily see the universal form. We don't ordinarily see further than to the next wall in front of us. Even if we're outside, we can see perhaps to the horizon. And there our vision ends. We can look up and we don't see outside the atmosphere of our own planet. And if it's dark, we don't see anything at all. So that is our limit. But those are not Krishna's limits. So Krishna is here showing Arjuna something that he naturally wouldn't be able to see, because this is a manifestation that is all over the universe. But Krishna gives him that ability to see. So that's what they say sometimes. Oh, if there's a God, we can never know because we can never see him. He can never be seen. But if he likes, he can show himself. Because if he's God, that's... It's the least of his problems, I almost said. Of course, it's not a problem. But we may create a logical construction of words that seem to prove something about God, but we don't know God. So we cannot limit him with our tiny logic. And we can, of course, decide that we are not so interested in God and that we have other things on our mind. But now we're in the middle of the Bhagavad-gita, and now we are opening our minds and our hearts to the possibility that there is more in existence than what is visible to our eyes. But here Arjuna, Krishna makes that visible to his eyes, and he's telling us about it. Yes, by the grace of the Lord, by the inconceivable potency of Krishna, it is quite possible. I read text 12 as well. Divi surya sahasrasya bhaved yugapad uthita yadi bhasadrishi sasyad bhasastasya mahatmanaha. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Purport. What Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjaya is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjaya nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, could see what happened. So Vyasa, that is Sanjaya's spiritual master, Vyasadeva is also the person who compiled the Vedas. When we entered into this age, Kali Yuga, roughly 5,000 years ago, he could understand that up to that point the Vedic knowledge was given by oral reception, and it was given to people who had such a powerful memory that they could actually memorize all of it from hearing it once. We still find people like that, but they are very few and far between. So he saw the need in structuring up the Vedas, dividing it and putting it in written form. So he comes in this disciplic succession, and Sanjaya was also his disciple. So by the Guru's potency, many wonderful things can happen. And in this case, Sanjaya was able to witness from within his heart what was going on in that battlefield. So let's do text 13 as well. No, I will finish the sentence, of course. Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, could see what happened. Nor Dhritarashtra or Sanjaya was present. Thus he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomenon, that is, thousands of suns. So we sometimes find that in the scripture. We find this kind of examples or comparisons or parables, and they are not meant to be a proof. They are just meant to help us get a picture of that aspect of reality that we are not familiar with, and we may not be able to immediately see it. Like there is another comparison given. If you have a small child and you look out the window and you say, "Oh, there's the moon, look it," and the child says, "What is the moon?" And the child doesn't know moon. And then you may point to, "Oh, if you look at that tree that is familiar to you, and you follow the tree up, there is the moon." The tree has nothing to do with the moon, but it helps the child to come to the next point of seeing the moon. So sometimes also we get examples like that to help us better understand. So there are no thousands of suns rising, but if we imagine that sort of brilliance, then it might come close to Krishna's universal form. Text 13. Tatraikastaham jagat kritsnang pravibhaktam annekadha apasya devadevasya sharire pandavastada. At that time, Arjuna could see in that universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Purport. The word tatra, there, is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on that chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form, because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting in this chariot, Arjuna could see all these, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna. Yes. So it's actually fascinating how how Bhagavad-gita manages to unfold chapter by chapter, and we're thinking, oh yes, that is very, very interesting and very impressive and very attractive knowledge. And then you take the next chapter and you go on. And here we're hearing about something very unusual, and we will also find at the end of the chapter Arjuna will say, "Okay, Krishna, thank you for showing me that form, but it's actually it's not the way I like to see you. I like to see you as a person that I love." And for us also, we are not aspiring to see the universal form as such. But it is a fact that Krishna is God, and if you're God, you can manifest the universal form, and if you're not God, you cannot do it. So we're hearing the philosophy of the Bhagavad-gita, but it's also actually helpful for us to contemplate Krishna's position, and therefore gaining a deeper faith in him, and therefore we will find it more easy to dive into the philosophy of the Bhagavad-gita and to apply it, because it is standing on its own. It is very inspiring, logical, practical, and applicable. But coming from such a great person as Krishna, then it makes it so that, oh yes, I want to hear from this Krishna. I want to hear more. So that was a few verses, and we have also verses ahead of us, and I think I will end it here. Any questions are of course always welcome in the comment field below, and see you next time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.